Okay, so the Jacksonville Daily Record reported back in May 21st, 2024, that the Davis family, the founders of Winn-Dixie Grocery Stores, sells property in Nocatee for more than $25 million. Five builders bought a total of 177 lots in what will become Seabrook Village Phase 2. This came as an announcement during the Certified Nocatee Realtor session last week held by the Parc Group. And quite frankly, I was surprised that they announced the final and last phase that you can build in Nocatee because it's not really the buying season or the selling season. It's October, November. We're running into an election year. Rates are coming down, but they still haven't sold out of other communities in Seabrook, such as Reflection. So it came as a surprise. It feels like the Parc Group, the developer, is in a rush just to wrap this Nocatee project up and move on to the next project, which I'll touch up on a little bit in today's video. And we will talk about the opportunities that we have for lots to build here in Seabrook Phase 2. Let's get into it right now. All right, so welcome to the Explore Nocatee handy map. Overall, Nocatee is coming to an end here of development. We're talking about almost 50 neighborhoods, I believe, at this point, and we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a lot of these communities are mostly sold out, but they did announce that they are releasing for sale the final lots in Nocatee overall, which are Seabrook Village Phase 2. The last release of lots to build were in Reflections of Seabrook. And like I said earlier, I was surprised that they already announced the final lots to build in Nocatee. These are 40 and 50-foot lots. But before I get into that, really quick, they also announced some other really exciting things, which I thought were super cool. First thing is first that really stood out to me that was very much needed, and I think a lot of us residents here are super excited. I know I am. Are by far the announcement of a library and park right here by 20 Mile, kind of close to where I live in the 20 Mile region here, in the Nocatee and Crosswater Parkway. They're building a library and park, and what is super exciting about that is the park will have ball fields, walking paths, playgrounds, an outdoor cafe, an outdoor classroom, book trough, a library, and soccer field. So as a soccer dad, I'm super excited for more soccer fields. And of course, we needed a library here in Nocatee. So super, super cool to see that happen. Of course, they continue to announce that that in the town center region, there are certainly still a lot going on there as well. One of them I think we're all excited about is the Chop House 13 restaurant they are talking about, the steak restaurant, which we're supposedly going to have a rooftop bar. And then, of course, I think it's needed, but over here in the northwest section, it was announced again, and you can see them clearing the land right here by the Reserve and Nocatee Apartments across from there, in Greenleaf Village and Greenleaf Lakes. They are building a new commercial center called Marketplace at Nocatee. And of course, they announced the grocery store for that will be yet another Publix. So I don't think it's a bad thing because Nocatee Town Center area gets very busy. We have a Greenwise and a Publix, which apparently Greenwise is going back to being yet another Publix. So essentially, we'll have like 3 Publixes. I'm sure we would love to see a different grocery store, but I think Publix kind of made a deal with the Parc Group, which would make them the main grocery store in town. In any case, having Publix over here in Marketplace will relieve traffic in the Nocatee Town Center area. I think another thing that they announced, which will be really, really cool to have, because I know a lot of you, my clients and buyers, are always asking about another preschool, if you will. And so Goddard School is coming to Nocatee. They'll be able to take 240 students, 12 classrooms, opening late in 2024. I believe this is the owners of the Goddard School in Ponte Vedra Beach, and they did a phenomenal job. So I'm super excited about this because there's always waiting lists for these preschools. So this will be a great addition to Nocatee area as well. There are a lot of preschools, but not enough. We can never have enough. So that is cool to have. And then also for those that have mom and dad here or elderlies, there's going to be a new active adult and independent lifestyle for adults 62 and older, independent living options, apartments, flats, cottages, assisted living, memory support, skilled nursing care. So they haven't announced a timeline, but the pictures look gorgeous, the renderings of what they're planning to do. So Nocatee, of course, is a big family master plan community, and so they currently have the Starling assisted living and independent living, but that is certainly not enough. So I think this Fleet Landing will be an awesome option for all of you that need care for your elderly folks, for sure. So I was excited to hear about that as well. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything else here. Yes, so the school was a big announcement, the library, another retirement facility. The one thing they didn't mention, which I find it kind of funny, is that they didn't talk about the new hotel that will be coming in, the Hampton Inn Suites. That's been kind of a sore subject, so I guess that will be one of the last projects as the Parc Group wraps up development here. Because they do have another massive project coming in the pipeline. And if you haven't seen my video that I made quite a while ago, it's What's After Nocatee. And I go into a lot of detail about the next major master plan community that I believe is next after Nocatee. It's land that has been permitted, and this video is based off an article that was published, land that was permitted for 10,000 dwellings in between E-Town and Nocatee. So I believe it's all going to connect, and I talk about it in great depth in this video, What's After Nocatee. It's already got 2,400 hits. And I believe because that land is owned by the Davis family, that the Parc Group anticipation is to move on, wrap up Nocatee and move on to this next project. But of course, they're not going to announce all this because this is all dependent on the economy, right? So they may have permitted the land and they have grand long-term plans like they had for Nocatee since early 2000s. So they take each part of that plan or development in phases, and so it's all dependent on the economy. And so there's a lot of gloom and doom right now because interest rates have been high and we're in an election year, and historically that's very normal. October, November is usually not the best time to list a home. I think it's a fantastic time to buy a home because that's when you're going to see most incentives, and which is what we're seeing right now. And I go into heavy detail about that on my last live that was recorded last week. It's called Predictions. Check it out. Real estate market predictions, buying or selling in Jacksonville, and why I think now is a phenomenal time to be a buyer, because historically October, November is usually a slower month, but even more so on election years historically. And I go into great detail of that on this video. So check it out. So going back to the Parc Group, they're not going to announce this next big project, if you will, in a grand scheme plan of things, because they kind of just let a little bit of information bit by bit. So here it is on their web page. This is the Parc Group's web page, communities. They have Nocatee, E-Town, Glen Kernan, and then there you go. There's the new community that we are going to hear about more and more. It's been announced. I think Toll Brothers is already one of the builders that's going to be in there, and it's called Everrange. Um, so I think they're anxious to move on to this project. Yet I did not anticipate that they would just start releasing neighborhood after neighborhood so quickly towards the end here. I think a lot of our builders were caught off guard as well. So let's talk about this last and final phase of Nocatee where you can build Seabrook Village Phase 2. Okay, so let me just give you an overview of kind of like what is being released right now and just how much opportunity there is here in Nocatee to pick up a quick move in, a spec home, or even still build a brand new lot. And the reason that is for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, historically in this master plan community of almost 50 neighborhoods, the Parc Group, the developer, which controls everything, usually determines when they're going to open up a neighborhood and open up pre-sales for lots. Well, it's been abnormal the last few years because they just keep opening up community after community after community without really fully selling the last community. So kind of giving you a timeline here of what I'm talking about. You know, we saw the big introduction of the Seabrook collection a couple years ago. And then immediately they opened up Crosswinds, and now Seabrook Collection's not even sold out. They announced Crosswinds down here by PIA, which is not anywhere near sold out. It has a lot of opportunities there for 40-footers and villas. And then they go ahead and announce Reflections at Seabrook, which is the last opportunity for lots that are 60 foot. So there's 40, 50s, and 60s for you to build on a 60-foot lot. So a lot of the amazing lots in there got snapped up. And then there's still a lot of spec homes there. And then before they even finish selling out Seabrook Reflections or Crosswinds, still some lots in Coral Ridge, Seabrook Village. They go ahead and announce right again last week the final and last neighborhood, Seabrook Village Phase 2, to build on a 40 and 50-foot lot. So again, I highly recommend you go and check out my video, predictions, the real estate market, why now is such an amazing time to buy, because it seems rather odd that they would go ahead and release all these communities in a buying season that's not really typically a good one, October, November. Then you add historically that it's not a good selling season during election years. And again, in that video, I tell you why and I show you the data. And so they go ahead and release all this at once, and it's not really the best timing. And they really haven't sold through a lot of the other communities. So it's giving you as the buyer a ton of opportunities now, because the builders are just trying to deal with interest rates going up to 7.5%. Luckily, they're going down now. Now they're dealing with an election year, and meanwhile, the Parc Group is just, hey, we're releasing everything, and everything's opened up. So they're all competing against each other, and there is a lot of different options for you here in Nocatee if you want to pick up a spec home in one of these communities that are trying to close out, or if you want to buy a lot and actually build what you want. There's just a lot of opportunities. So let's get into that. Again, the last community to be released was Reflections, and here it is. Super exciting community. Basically, it has all 40-foot lots here, 50-foot lots in the middle, and then 60-foot lots here. So these are the last 60-foot lots that you can build on. And a lot of the builders, because the interest rates were so high, they sold all the best lots, but yet they still have a lot of other good opportunities that they decided to put spec homes on it. So if you don't want to build, there's some amazing spec homes on some oversized, even though they're called 60-foot lots, they're really oversized, massive lots. Now, of course, the reason why people have been running and selling out on all those is because these aren't cheap. These are, you'll see the 40-foot lot products are around the 750 to 800 range. Your 50-foot product all in is around 850, 900 range, if not to $1 million, depending on your finishes. And then the 60-foot product is easily $1 million to $1.3 million. But there are some spec homes with some amazing incentives by particular builders that can get you in a really nice 60-foot, 3,000 plus square foot home for the 1.1 range, 1.2, which is a pretty good deal for Nocatee. But the problem is we've also had high interest rates, so that's not why they've been flying off the shelf. And now we have a lot of you waiting because of interest rates. So really, for a shrewd buyer that is looking in the market, they wouldn't be waiting right now. They'd be shopping like crazy, because now you've got a whole nother option of 40 and 50-foot lots. And this was just released last week. This is Seabrook Village Phase 2. And in this phase, the final phase release lots for you to build. And of course, they're opening up all these lots to you. So obviously, the first thing I do is I'm like, okay, which are the most amazing lots available? So on this section here are all 40-foot lots. And the builders for that will be Riverside Homes, Providence Homes, and David Weekly Homes. So all here are 40-foot lot products. And interestingly enough, I've seen some of the pricing, and some of the pricing is actually better than Reflections. So they're valuing Reflections at a higher price tag, slightly higher price tag than the Phase 2 of Seabrook Village. But there are some incredible lots here on the preserve, lake to preserve. But not all pricing has been announced, but some of it has been announced. So for those of you that are smart and you're in the market and you're going, this is my last opportunity to build, and you find a lot with a builder you like, now is the time, because they also have some massive incentives. So they understand that this is an election year. They understand the rates are coming down, so they're helping you buy down rates more. I've seen more incentives than I've ever seen before. And then finally, over here are 50-foot lots. And just because they're 50-foot lots, some of them are bigger than 50 feet. If you can see these pie shapes right here. And the builders in there that are announced are Dosty Homes, that are building 50-foot lots, Toll Brothers, which are building on 50-foot lots. And then the total random unexpected is ICI is building on 50-foot lots. And they haven't announced what the floor plan is, what the prices of those lots are yet. But I think that it's going to be really interesting, because I've never seen an ICI 50-foot product before. So going to be new floor plans there as well. And so all the opportunities for the final phase in Nocatee, Seabrook Village Phase 2 is coming now. And it is not really a opportune time, because people are thinking about, they're deep into school, they're thinking about Halloween, they're thinking about Thanksgiving. So again, that's why on that other video I call predictions, I'm like, not the best time to list a house right now, people, unless you have to. But what a fantastic time to be a buyer, because Nocatee is just wide open. All the builders are competing against each other. They all have inventory. They all have incentives. Every single one of them have incentives. I've seen even in one community that they're giving away pool packages worth $130,000, because they do not want to mess up their comps. So they're giving away flex spending cash in the design center. They're giving away money towards closing costs, and they're giving away money towards buying down the rate even more. So if current rates, as recording this in September 2024, is let's say 6.25, you can still buy down a 30-year loan with the amount of flex spending you have to 5.5, if you will. So there are a ton of opportunities right now. And now is a time to strike. If you're in the market, don't wait, because everybody else is waiting, and there's some credible lots to be chosen from. And you have whatever you want. You can get a villa in Crosswinds. You can get a 40-foot product in Crosswinds. Really, you can get a 4-bedroom home, 2,300 square feet, for $550, $600. These prices have never been heard of. You can get a bigger lot in Reflections on a nice size 60-foot lot for 1.1, 1.2, where it was up to 1.4, 1.5 at one point. You can get a 50-foot lot. There's just so many different options. So don't wait. If you're in the market and you're saying, hey, I'm definitely in the market, but I'm waiting. If you're able, I wouldn't wait. These are the times to strike. I always say the day after Turkey Day, when everybody's full and fat from stuffing their face turkey, watching football, they're not out looking at houses. These are when the incentives are. The builders are waiting for the year end. So my name is Greg DiTullio. I live here in Nocatee. I don't monetize off my YouTube page. This is purely informational for you. I do this so I could at least market myself with my knowledge to be a resource to you, to represent you. The builders pay my commission. It costs nothing to you. So I would love to be a real estate resource of choice. And right now I have promotions that not only do I have someone that is a ex-builder that has design experience to help you go through the design center process with the builder, which is very intensive. I have somebody that I literally have attend with you the day or two to help consult you through that process, because it is a very laborious process. And then also I am covering by a third party a pre-drywall inspection and a 12-month warranty inspection as part of my package of my services to you, besides everything else that I offer, being a resident here, having multiple builds here with all the builders here in Nocatee, as well as other communities in St. Johns County. I'd love to be a service. I would love to have that opportunity. So whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, 180 days, call me. Let's begin that conversation. You can text me, call me, or email me. My information will be in the description and pinned in the comments. And again, if you haven't watched those videos, predictions of whether it's a good time to buy or sell right now, check that video out. And then, of course, what's coming next after Nocatee, as I mentioned earlier, I'll put those in the description as well. And I'll see you on those next videos.